Thank you very much, John and Sandra. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Martha McCallum, and this is The Story. President Trump set to return soon to Washington this hour. He's got a lot happening today. The big, beautiful bill just keeps moving a little bit closer to reality and may come across his desk by July 4th, depending on how quickly the House side can deal with it. A little back and forth there, as you might imagine. Vice President Vance earlier went over to the Senate. He cast that tie-breaking vote, and that's how we got here, where the House is dealing with the rules vote, and then they hope to move forward on it. We'll see how it goes. The president also today in Florida celebrating a new tool in his deportation toolbox, touring a newly built migrant detention facility that is dubbed Alligator Alcatraz. It's equipped to hold 3,000 people, 3,000 beds in there, smack in the middle of the Florida Everglades, where escaping could mean crossing paths with gators known to snap up a python once in a while. President Trump offering to anyone this advice if they're thinking about running away from this facility.
You know, the snakes are fast, but alligators are, but we're going to teach them how to run away from an alligator, okay? If they escape prison, how to run away. Don't run in a straight line. Run like this. And you know what? Your chances go up about 1%, okay? Not a good thing.
The old zigzag route. Correspondent Dana Marie McNichol reporting live in Ochopee, Florida. Hi, Dana Marie.
Hi, Martha. Well, the president officials, but he also toured.
And that's not a place I want to go hiking anytime soon. But very soon, this facility will house some of the most menacing migrants, some of the most vicious people on the planet. We're surrounded by miles of treacherous swampland, and the only way out is really deportation.
Do you want me to keep talking?
A little problem with the signal there for Dana Marie McNichol, but we'll work on that. Our guest today is former ICE supervisory special agent. In 2011, while on assignment in Mexico, he was ambushed by the Los Zetas drug cartel. He survived that shooting, but his partner, Special Agent Jamie Zapata, did not. Victor Avila joins me now. Long record of dealing with bad guys on both sides of the border. Victor, it's always great to have you with us. Thank you for joining me today. What are your thoughts on this new facility that was rolled out today, sir?
Several things, Martha. I think it's a home run by the state of Florida, not only adding obviously the much needed bed space, but the coordination between the state government and the federal government, which is kind of a big indicator here and a lot of pressure, I think, to other states like Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, California. I'm not sure how much is going to happen there, but definitely Texas to see what can happen. We have a lot of these facilities that was built by the Biden administration, and I was always, saying, why can't we turn these processing centers into detention facilities, which I think we could still do and savor some of those because that money has already been spent and these facilities have already been built. But I think it also sends a big message to illegals around the world that are still thinking of coming into the United States that now you are going to face true consequences and be removed.
Yeah, it's so interesting to me because we know that the border traffic has dropped to near zero in terms of people coming in. So now it's a question of dealing with the people who are here. And as was pointed out in the last hour by the Homeland Security deputy, this is the worst of the worst in this effort. And they're looking for people who already have criminal detainers on them and criminal work that is designed to kick them out already, right? So who's going to be held in this facility?
I think it's going to be open to everyone. Obviously, the priority goes to the worst of the worst, a lot of them in the state of Florida, believe it or not. And the 287G program, which is the state program that allows state police officers and municipal and sheriff's officers to help immigration agents do this job. That's a big effort also that Florida has stepped up. We want to see other states do the same. But like you said, Martha, there's plenty. I mean, we're talking about 600,000 just alone walking around with deportation orders. A lot of them out there with convictions that were released from state jails, from county jails that we never got, ICE never got a chance to go get them. So you're going to see bodies probably as soon as tomorrow coming in there.
Yeah, there's plenty of low-hanging fruit. Real quick, this is Governor DeSantis on the program that you're talking about that joins local officials with the federal effort. Watch this.
One of the things I think that is exciting about this is we're offering up our National Guard and other folks in Florida to be deputized to be immigration judges. We're working with the Department of Justice for the approvals. I'm sure Pam will approve. Someone has a notice to appear. Biden would tell them to come back in 3 years and appear. Now you'll be able to appear in like a day or two.
You know, it just strikes me, Victor, how different it is state to state. And we hear the person who's running for mayor in New York basically saying that they would never cooperate with ICE in the city of New York. So really, you know, your safety in this regard depends a lot on where you live and how much cooperation is happening.
And it really shouldn't, Martha. This is not a red or white issue, red or blue issue. It's a red and white and blue issue. Just think about fentanyl. It kills anyone. But we're at unprecedented times, and I think we require unprecedented measures. And kudos to the state of Florida for doing this. You have to start thinking outside the box to really not only get the deportation numbers up, but really make our community safer. Because let's remember, this is about public safety and national security. Don't forget about the terrorism angle here.
Yeah, absolutely. The terrorism angle, the human trafficking angle, the cartel angle that is entrenched in so many places in this country that you and I have discussed before, Victor. So we hope this is a successful effort. Thank you so much. Good to see you, Victor.
Thank you for having me.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.